I know Ed's fact checking.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of This Week in Hospitality Digital Marketing. I'm one of your co-hosts, Lauren Gray, speaking to you from the hotel room of the Holiday Inn Suites, Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, on a cloudy Vancouver day. But
now he's bragging
in the distance. Well, no, it's rainy, but I will be playing tourist shortly, which is probably going to explain why I'm not going to be on the show incredibly long. Probably about a half hour is what I promised my wife she'd have to put up with before I ducked out and left it to you two. With me always is Mr. Robert StOnge with
Robert StOnge.
Wow. Yes. Okay. Ed and I are married.
The morning is kicking in, isn't it?
Ed and I have gotten married. Ed and I have gotten married. Both of our wives are very open to this kind of new modern thing.
Yeah, really strange.
All the more reason why I should not be co-hosting for a very length of time if I can't even get the names of the co-hosts correctly. Gentlemen, we were in the green room talking about one of the articles of suggested topics today, which was Marriott's gives wholesalers access to real-time rates and inventory. And I said that this was a difference, and you all were saying that it really has not been anything much different. So do we want to continue that conversation, or are we going to hop back to it? What would you like to do?
Well, let's do we have Tim Peter coming in today?
Tim, he doesn't think he's going to make it.
Okay.
He might be missing 2 weeks in a row yet, last week and this week. So I wasn't expecting him to pop in today. I think it was just us, and we had hoped that we were going to have a guest with us, but it doesn't, unless they pop in, we don't know for sure. So anyway.
That's okay.
Yeah, so my point to the Marriott opening up a portal to wholesalers, like I feel like this has been done a few times, and Robert popping in actually called up one of the times it's been done. I mean, there's nothing that I picked up, and again, we only know what we know based on the article, but I don't see how this is any different than what's been made available in the past if you wanted to sell a Marriott or an IHG property or a property. I mean, you can go pick up a standard rate on the GDS, right?
This is
This
is why I think it's different. In dealings with the metasearch platform, one of the things that a couple of the large brands are doing, Marriott being one of them, was a new feature of the connectivity that they had was to mitigate with their affiliates what rates and offers and inventories were available selective to the individual affiliate, which means that they can control real-time rates and dates with each individual affiliate depending upon what they would have, which now looks like it's been ingrained in their wholesaler program, which means that they can actually begin to flex their wholesaler relationships in real time with rates and availability rather than just block openings and rate card rates racks that you had referred to. And that's what I think is the big difference is that this is a dynamic rate flex ability connectivity with a wholesaler. So I think that's where the difference is.
Well, and when we developed Neat Group in 2000 and launched in 2001 as the first dynamic packaging platform and got the US patent on dynamic packaging, 100% of our inventory was available really through Pegasus and that was according to the hotel companies, because we had an agnostic back end. At that time, we could have done direct connects to anybody, and it was their choice to go through Pegasus. So through that platform, and we launched with 8 major hotel groups. That is 100% of the way that we got our inventory. All at net wholesale rates, all flexed. Now, some of them could have given us a static rate, but everything flexed. In some cases, we were getting access to inventory through multiple links. So we might have what's a good example? A hotel group might give us something, again, through Pegasus going directly to their rate code, but they could also be represented by somebody like a UTEL or something like that.
So I mean,
we could get it through both. We could get it through both systems dynamically on different rate plans. So with all of them, and talk about pinning it down, there were a variety of different ways through the platform. Coffee in Vancouver, no.
Yes, it's actually still better than the U.S., but this is hotel room coffee. Good.
So
anyway,
but what we basically had were they could set security by IATA number, by IP address, by a wide variety of methods, and so it was complete access to anything. We also had access to different rate tiers. So we had access to, say, Priceline, Hotwire opaque tiers, we had package tiers, and we had hotel standalone rates. So all in our engine, we could determine all of those, pull those together. So in terms of being dynamic, there was nothing more, and that was why Neat Group, got the patent on dynamic packaging, because it was dynamic pricing.
I think
as well on it.
I think what's new here is it's a new partnership, not that it's a new model. I think this model of wholesaler program has existed like for a very long time. But I think the fact that it's Sabre Hospitality doing it may be the thing that's different.
Yeah. No, I think I looked at that really as kind of more a press release of the relationship and Sabre doing it, which actually Sabre, back when I ran Sabre's hotel program, could do that in 1996. Yeah, same sort of thing, because all it is a negotiated rate, and Sabre controls it through pseudo city code. It's the same thing. It's you're getting this stuff, and if you want to vary it as a percentage off of bar, at a dollar step down the bar, something like that. Sabre couldn't do that, but certainly Marcia could. Marcia could do that in the early 90s, sort of thing. So so nothing new, just a press release.
Okay. I read into it a little bit more than it was then.
Yeah,
I still read more into it. I'm still thinking there's a ghost in the machine. I swear to you, Kennedy was not killed by just one shot.
No. But actually, I think that underlines a very effective point, that the objective, that press release completely worked. And Lauren, you are very plugged into technology and what's going on in the industry. So if they convince you that, hey, this is really new and cool, it probably hit 99%.
I'm doing something else going on in the background with some of these brands that I'm thinking that this is the first iteration of the dynamic affiliate relationships too. So I might be overthinking it.
It's the 6 millionth iteration of a core. But let's also let's make this an interesting conversation. Let's talk about why this doesn't work. Let me put my old Easy Yield hat on. So why this isn't really that effective or matter much is this creates a problem that's always existed, and it was a problem that I tried to solve with Easy Yield, which was they're putting out a business model to try and solve the connectivity issue proactively, and the problem with it, and with all standards that existed when I was looking at why start Easy Yield, was every attempt to ever create a fix to all these disparate inventory systems was always tied to forcing a business model on someone. And so everyone always realized that there was more money to be made working around the standard than there was to lean in and take the standard. And this is just more of that. This is more of forcing a standard way of doing business on the wholesalers if they want access to this program. And there will be wholesalers that'll go, no, I don't want to work this way because it's forcing me to live within the creativity of what you created. And now there's no point. There's no point in having Marriott hotels as a wholesaler, because I've got the same thing everyone else has, and I have no ability to package it differently or to do anything creative with it, because Marriott has defined it that this is the only way to work with Marriott. So instead, I'm going to go contract the hotels directly with a specific model that allows me to be creative and try to create value for the consumer that I'm answering as a wholesaler.
Well, I can speak to that too, having run Mark Travel's wholesale operation, right, where we worked with Easy Yield. They're quite the good partner. Helped a lot of hotels connect in and with us,
and never forced a standard way of doing business.
Absolutely not. No. And Mark Travel certainly wasn't doing that too. But the number of hotels, and again, this was, let's say 2000. What was it, 2007-ish, right? 2006, 2007. I was brought into Mark Travel to basically make their stuff dynamic, right? To make them a hybrid tour operator. At least that was my strategy. And to do that, the number of hotel groups that tried to give, Mark Travel an OTA contract basically was staggering. So, the hotels complain a lot about the OTAs and stuff, but at that time, especially, they were trying to turn everybody into the OTA model,
Yeah.
which was not the best strategy for them. But what we would do at Mark Travel as a wholesaler, some of these guys would come and go, yes, you can only get the inventory through the system. And when you look through it, as Ed's saying, all of a sudden you're getting exactly what the OTAs have, which is really bad. So we would have not the, well, I'll just say it doesn't matter. Starwood, we would have great regular wholesale rates, not necessarily in terms of blocks of availability that we'd prepaid or anything, but we had contracts, say, for the Swan and Dolphin in Orlando, which were very good pricing during peak, holiday periods and things like that. Those rates would never be available through an OTA channel, sort of thing. So what we would do is arbitrage the stuff. We had contracts to feed on there that were individual of the property, and then we had the dynamic stuff. And then if they were offering some sort of really low rate that was better during the second week of September, we'd take that one dynamically. And so we were eligible for all those different rates. It was just which one we were going to pick. What I think is interesting, and ultimately I think will come out through all these models and through some sort of user interface on consumer level, will be what rates am I eligible for in a kind of seamless, transparent method. Room 77 was kind of getting there, not
They were getting
pretty
close, yeah.
very kludgely, and I mean, Google did buy that technology, right? So Google, maybe I would put my money on Google, so would be the one who'd come out with it. But yeah, I mean, hey, if I'm eligible for a AAA, if I'm eligible for a AAA rate, a seniors rate, a corporate rate, whatever, and what they're offering dynamically. Yes, a consumer wants to get that in one shot when they just go, show me what's the best rate that I'm eligible for.
Let me tell you who I am. Tell me.
Yeah, here's me. What do I have? And it should be that fast. I mean, the technology certainly exists for it, but again, the hotels have
But that's kind of why I keep thinking that this is something different. I know that it sounds it's the same thing, and maybe it is currently in its iteration. I know Saber's working on the same parallel path of this connectivity issue. I'm wondering, because I'm looking from the hotel side of things. I mean, obviously, like as you pointed out, Robert, if I'm excited about the idea of this, maybe for overemphasis of thinking behind the curtain on stuff, and for those in the hotel business, are they looking at this as an expanded opportunity to make the inventory available to wholesalers they didn't know exist, or work better within the systems as a reminder that as a branded relationship with Marriott, they need to expand their wholesaler relationships? I mean, obviously those are media impacts, but isn't that really the end goal? Is that they're looking at creating that real-time availability of maximum?
I read this and I look at it as Marriott, their hope that this end goal is wholesalers stop going to the hotels directly and just go to this
absolutely
portal. Right. But that's never certainly happen. Wholesalers will never stop trying to find a way to be competitive against other wholesalers. And so Marriott's hope, I think, through doing this is to take a good amount of their collection of hoteliers, their owners, and be able to say to them, we provide an architecture for this, don't do it. And there will be a large amount of them that'll go, okay,
absolutely,
you're right.
Right, but then again, that's where the dynamic rates come in, is that if they're able to flex the rates where the wholesaler's saying, look, my contracted rate compared to what you have in market isn't the same. Now here's a platform that will actually mitigate that opportunity inventory rate. We're saying, okay, wholesaler, you're right, and you're going to be able to do this in real time. Real time, not here's a tier card, here's not a rate schedule, here's not your contracted rate per tier.
Sure.
This is, okay, we're going to allow this flex in your dynamic rate to occur based on current market strategy rates we have out there. That's what I think the key of that was.
It's you. I think
it's actually your end. Yeah, you got.
Yeah.
No. I think I certainly agree. Marriott wants to have ironclad control and know every single booking, to have every single booking that goes into every one of their hotels go through Marriott so they can see it. Right. That is bottom. That's always been there. So I mean when they unplugged the property reservation module in Marcia a decade or two ago, right? That was the intent, and there are still leaks for them to do it, and that's fine. I completely understand Marriott wanting to accomplish it. One of the comments though you made, Lauren, in terms of having relationships with wholesalers who you don't know, I would advise against that for any hotel. that you don't want to go give wholesale, basically a net rate to anyone who you don't have a relationship with and you don't know exactly what they're doing with it, because that's where you're going to start getting things, distributed beyond where you think they go, and all of a sudden have all sorts of little rates popping up, and you're going to play whack-a-mole with where the hell did this discounted rate come up. Because literally, and we would do this all the time at Mark Travel, and some of the hotel calls on it, but we went up there because they come in and go, somebody's selling our rate at a discount, you're not supposed to be doing this. And we would go out, and it would be someone who was taking a package rate that was supposed to be sold with an air thing, but it was done through an international distributor. So it's on an XML feed or something like, they can go grab the stuff. But there's no rule that says, yes, the air has to be bundled with that. Mark Travel didn't control that. They just said,
Right.
we promise. Yeah,
Right.
it's with air. No, they just put it in, discounted it, took it. And
It does also control the ability for wholesalers to hack it out too.
Model.
If we're controlling,
and that is a business model for a number of unsavory wholesalers. And since I'm calling out names, StOnge, who started the whole rate parity thing, that was Dorian's business model, was basically to violate the terms of all of the hotel agreements that said they have rate parity. And here's where we go with the whole rate parity thing. But that's what they wanted to do, to just we will price this independently, because he could get access to these kind of rate programs and then just price them any way he wanted. Qualified rate, exactly.
Yeah, all of these rates,
yeah. Okay. So I have a burning question for Ed, and we run out of anyway. Do you like to prefer to be called 00 no he didn't, or that's StOnge, Edward StOnge? So if I make the next cute little enemy,
so we're gonna use
I did 00 no he didn't, but I mean it could be, as Robert said, it could be.
I think I'm gonna go.
No, Saint. Or
I'm
gonna go with Robert on this. I think. Yeah.
All right. I'll change.
I had a better one that's a little bit more hipper, and with the kids would be more StOnge.
Oh jeez. I get enough butchering of my name in a day.
It's StOnge, dude. Dude.
Well, for anybody that hasn't noticed, I put out this animation, and I promised everyone I'd change the animation into October, and I did, to more of a Mission Impossible kind of theme. And I was kind of fun because I called
Mission Impossible. No.
It's the source of the creativity. It's not necessarily the fact that it's a template. Actually, I changed a little bit of the template anyway. But I made what Tim, Ted, and Peters. I pluralized his name just to poke at the line a little bit. But yeah, no, that was my fun thing to it. And I defy you, Mr. Ed, to pick up and do it every week too. Go ahead, make a video every week. You'd be using templates.
We do make videos every week.
Not you though.
I pay the people who make the videos every week. Therefore,
that's what it is.
I make videos every week.
That's right. And if they do it.
Not with your time, though. Not with your time.
And if they do a good job, he gives them extra saltine crackers and lukewarm tap water as a reward. So,
good job.
Fresh water, not tap water.
No, that's if they really get extra views.
Right.
If they beat the threshold, then
free water. Good job.
So, free advertisement at its best.
You want to talk about Expedia begins revealing its big ambitions in hotel services?
Oh yeah,
I like it. I like what they're doing. I think it's a great strategy.
It's a smart strategy.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm gonna say it. If I've not been clear before, Expedia does lots of things better than every other hotel and hotel company does.
Right.
So it's incredible that they're now taking a lot of the things that they just do better and opening that up to be available to hotels. And I will say, like I've always said, use it with caution, use it correctly, and it's a good thing for hotels. Mm-hmm. Don't use it with caution, don't use it correctly, and it's going to be a nightmare for hotels.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? Just to take something in a microcosm and make it larger. What we just had is a fun dialogue, which and it is meant to be fun. I think, Ed, you would be representative of OTAs right now, and I would be representative of hotels. I have underutilized bandwidth, and I have minimal people dedicated to things, and you have resources and availability and flexibility. Some of the reasons why I think Expedia is doing exceptionally well is a lot of reasons why what you do is exceptionally well. It's because you have a large number of people because you're bringing in those resources to attack different things in different ways. You're not single thinking, you're multiple thinking. You're single purpose, but you have multiple people working towards that goal. You have different resources to apply to different things, which allows Expedia to think ahead of where hotels are still trying to rationalize if they're going to put in their next year's budget a warm body that handles fundamental things that should have been handled by a warm body in the 16 budget. You know, the industry is still trying to bend with its needs, and instead hobble along with what's being handed to it or services that are being offered to it. They're always going to be behind the person that's offering them the services, because why would they buy it from the person offering the services if they could do it for themselves? So in a way, it's kind of showing why Expedia is going to keep extending that distance between what hotels are functionally able to do for themselves and what Expedia can offer as services and expansion into other platforms, is because they're thinking that far ahead, and more importantly, they're putting resources towards it. I mean, in a strange way, we made interesting.
Right. So, point. I mean, the thing here is like, I kind of poo-poo on the idea of poor hotels as businesses, because like there are tens of thousands of hotels that actually I would probably say, you know, over 60% of the hotels in existence as an annual revenue model are a bigger annual revenue model than most of the innovative technology companies out there.
Yep.
So,
and certainly
what's the difference? Yep. The difference is these innovative, again, Expedia is bigger than most hotels, obviously, at this point. But you look at the companies that are out there innovating, it's because they're trying to be better.
Right.
And trying to be better means you, one, don't rely on we've always done things this way, so this is why we're going to do it. And two, you hire the best people for the specialty that you're trying to conquer. And, you know, so first of all, if you own a hotel and you spent over $6 million in acquiring that hotel, if you do not operate that with all of your being and in the most advanced competitive way possible, that's your choice, but you have to accept that and live it. Just like there are hotels that are tiny, small investment and overall small revenue that just eat other hotels' lunch, and it's because they run their business aggressively. Right. So again, you know, and we've talked about the difference between a hotelier-run hotel and a real estate investment-run hotel. I could see where the struggle for hotels that are trying to operate a business, but their owner is purely looking at the real estate play here. Yeah, your life's tough. Right? I get it. I feel for you. But if you're a hotelier owning a hotel and you're not looking at how to be the most advanced version of a highly functioning business, then yeah, you're gonna have to rely on companies that are doing that. And Expedia right now, and you know, and not just OTAs, there are other companies out there that are also moving the ball forward in innovation, in guest experience and guest booking path and all of that. So you have to choose what you're going to be excellent at, and then accept that in the things you're not going to be excellent at, you have to pay someone to be excellent at for you.
Right.
Just like I don't hobble together my own phone system because I'm not a phone system person, and my company's core is not to do phone systems. So I look and find the best, and I don't complain when they innovate and then they want me to pay more for it. Right? Like I either decide I'm going to pay more for it because it's beneficial, or I'm not going to pay more for it because it's not beneficial. But like this angst over innovation coming at a cost and things, you know, all these things coming at a cost, like if you did it yourself, you know, like if you want to invest in having a technology company as part of your company, which some hoteliers do, and they take a lot of their services internal. If you want to do that, make sure that that's being run competitive and you won't have a problem. But you're going to be spending a ton of money over your hotels, whereas going with a vendor, you're hoping that they're innovating across a larger pool of hotels paying for the thing, so you get more value out of it.
Right. Well,
Robert, has there ever been a survey of anything of any type of the ownership type of any spectrum of who owns what majority of hotels based on running the hotel as a management company, ownership company versus just as a REIT company?
Yeah.
I mean, so is that percentage shifting at all? Is there more to what Ed was pointing out? Profit-minded only hotel operations compared to hoteliers running operations. Is there a percentage?
No, I think in terms of, you kind of look at institutional ownership versus just independent and that sort of thing. But well, a good example. I went to the Dallas Hotel Conference yesterday. 500 people. It's the 11th year that this law firm Gardier and Wynn has run this conference. I think they had probably about 400 people actually showed. I think they had 600 RSVPs. Vast majority, and Dallas is really a bastion of a lot of REITs and management companies and things like that. But all of these guys are bankers, real estate people, and that's what they do. And those portfolios are growing. They're looking, and those guys are out actively seeking to do deals with hotels that are profitable and doing well. So the little guy who is innovative and does something kind of good, that's their exit strategy. Go get some banker to go do this deal and find.
That's kind of the truth in all business,
right? Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So the innovation. Now, the interesting things that came up at the conference, overall, not necessarily topics, but my takeaways are certainly that the major hotel brands are operating much more similarly to an OTA model than they have. All these hotel brands and the hotel operators, right? They aren't running their own F&B. They aren't, in many cases, it's Expedia or Pleasant or someone who's running their concierge desks. They don't own the facilities. All they are is a brand who's trying to move. They're large distribution and branding organizations, and that's it. So that weirdly pits them directly competitively with the OTAs, and in most cases the OTAs are winning that because of what you said, Lauren, which I basically take as focus. That is what they do. They optimize distribution. They figure out the sales process. How do you convert business? How do you attract traffic? How do you fill these hotel rooms? And that is their main being. What do the hotel groups do? And in many cases, they outsource a lot of that. I mean, some of them they do it themselves, but in other cases, it's outsourced or whatever. If it's a smaller group, they aren't building that expertise internally, and that's a problem when you get into a fight and you're locked there in the octagon and the guy standing across from you is like 800 pounds and really quick and
has been training in like low oxygen climates and
right.
and
has honed his technique and
here you are pretty good at CrossFit,
but you've never really done this sort of thing before, but you've seen it on TV.
Hey, Ed, I got a question. When you're selling, I'm not asking you to reveal anything, but when you're selling, which sells the most? The value proposition that you represent, or the changing culture that it represents?
It's different. It's different based on who I'm talking to.
True. No,
so there's a lot of different angles, and it's really depending on who we're talking to, what angle do we focus on, because there's the value proposition, for Flip2 is like, listen, we'll make you more advanced than most other marketers without you having to figure it out. So that's kind of the value proposition. Sometimes they don't care about that. I mean, there are times that the sales we get are because some part of our platform checks a box that they need to go and tell their boss that they do. Now, we try and educate them above caring more than that, but some care, some don't. There's different decisions for everyone. We enjoy the ones that actually care to be more advanced, because then we'll also take the time to give them our expertise. But listen, we also understand the ones that are just trying to check the box.
Right.
And so we build for both, knowing that we can help both be better.
I was talking in Lynchburg. I was talking to this dude, and guy I talked to both about it. Anyway, I was talking about the fact that, you know, a lot of hotels run in this yo-yo principle because he's a finance guy and it's everything numbers wise. So I'm trying to convince him. I don't think I will convince him, but I'm trying to open his ideas to the fact that it's like, look, it's not when you're getting good, it's like a squirrel, you know, you go over and stuff your cheeks full of all the money you can make and still keep your costs down. And then when it's lean, you keep your costs down and just use what excess cash you had gotten when times were good. It's like you have to invest in the chance. And I think you hit it probably more succinctly than I spent a half hour trying to explain to him when you said about caring, Ed, when you said, you know, do you care about your business? And are you giving good, that you care about what you're doing rather than just the money that it's created from? I think that probably was a much shorter answer to what I spent a half hour trying to explain to him on saying, you know, look, it's about what your business type is. It's hospitality and hotels. It's not dollars and cents, but to him it is, and it's not going to change that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That exists in every industry. That's not rare to hotels. Like, I mean, you know, bottom line is like in vendors, you can see that the vendors who aren't running to maximize normalized EBITDA are more interesting than the ones that are running to maximize normalized EBITDA. Mm-hmm. That's just it. Like, because those are the ones that when they learn of a new opportunity and they can build something new and are willing to take the risk, where ones that are just answering to normalized EBITDA, they're living quarter by quarter. You know,
and that's the main issue is the quarter by quarter. I mean, let's just roll back a few years when Fritz got, you know, bounced by Starwood, right? They missed quarter. Okay. Big misses on all sorts of things, very ugly, and that's fine. But what was Starwood doing? They were also separate from missing their numbers and their hotel growth projections, but they were out there doing, you know, a loft, which was a great concept of being the little, you know, test bed of small hotels. All the owners are bought in. We are going to do leading stuff, figure out what works. Really, really good stuff. But hey, you missed your numbers, boom, you're gone. Yep. What's Expedia doing at the same time? They're wrapping up a massive capital infusion into their technology systems, to which Wall Street brutalized them. I mean, just absolutely beat the crap out of them. But they hung in there, mostly because of Barry Diller, who's, you know, the largest shareholder, who said, okay, yeah, it's okay. I'm not going to turn. I'm okay with this, because the guy understands. I mean, you go way back. Barry Diller's the guy who bought Hotel Reservations Network from Littman and Diener. It wasn't Expedia. It was him. He was all over the travel industry really early, and then the investments and Expedia and everything else. So, you know, it's that sort of, you know, ownership which facilitates that. Starwood didn't have it. They had a bunch of institutional people going, let's get somebody else in here and go, and that's it. And now they're part of Marriott.
Right.
So,
hey Ed, I can't from the camera. I'm this Dell, but I'm bright on one camera and dark on the other. What's the color of your ribbon?
Oh,
I can't tell what color ribbon.
It's teal. So it's a teal ribbon, which is for ovarian cancer awareness.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
A dear friend of mine who works with us here at Flip2 has been fighting ovarian cancer for 3 years now.
Wow.
So
I lost a very, very dear friend to ovarian cancer. They found it she went through pregnancy and found it at the tail end, and it was already stage 4 at that point.
Actually, this dear friend of mine, she was stage 4 too, and has beaten all the odds. So today, Flip2 decided today, because it is National Pink Day, we decided rather than pink, we were going teal.
Teal. Very nice.
Nice. Yeah. Now, this was back in the 80s. Unfortunately, things have improved since then.
Quite a bit.
Early detection, folks. That's you know, get those screenings. That's and then my only other pitch for it is since I've lost a couple of friends, is MD Anderson in Houston, that if doctors say this is bad, go find them, ask them, because it's they are magicians.
Have them in Orlando as well. So.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Yep.
And Miami.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Right.
Because their main Houston center is the core of it, and those guys are they're miracle workers.
They're amazing.
To
wrap up the point, though, on Expedia, you know, expanding into services, all in all, this will be good for the industry. Because what they are expanding services that other vendors do, it's going to force those vendors to up their game.
Right.
And based on what services of theirs end up becoming popular, that will build new startups. Because new startups will look and say, wow, Expedia expanded this, the industry loved it. I can build a better version of it. It's not tied to Expedia. There will be customers. So I mean, from a like a macro look, I definitely think what they're doing and what Booking.com's doing by expanding into more of a SaaS-enabled marketplace play is all in all going to push the industry forward aggressively.
Yeah. Now, what's going to happen, though, is the hotels at some point, though, are going to start complaining about this because, again, my model for the hotel industry's, approach to disruption is stage one, ignore it. Stage two, even when people tell you you're getting disrupted, they continue to ignore it. Stage three is to panic, and then stage four is complain.
Yep.
So, what's going to happen here is, and look at who owns these assets. Who owns Viator, the largest, arguably, activities and tour platform on the planet, owned by TripAdvisor. And then who owns OpenTable, the largest restaurant reservation platform? Oh, that's Priceline. And here's Expedia. There seems to be a pattern here. I don't know. I've got the thing on the wall with the pictures and the strings, and I'm trying to figure it out. But,
I don't know. I think it's pretty.
Yeah. So what's happening now? Now here's something in terms of just getting back to the packaging aspect. When we did Neat Group, that was part of the model that we never got to because we sold Descendant, and Descendant completely blew up the business model, which was not good for the packaging industry and that sort of thing. But it was that you could then go bundle anything in and get it all associated with a single, a single bucket of inventory and a single itinerary. But again, what's happening is, boy, all this great place for, it doesn't matter, the really cool art museum or the great, let's pick Seattle, pick something out of the, just randomly sort of thing. They've got these great harbor tours you can go on. All of a sudden, where are those going to go? They are going to work with Expedia. Expedia is going to wind up at some point, not at the beginning, but some point way down the road, is going to start squeezing them for better rates because they are producing so much volume for them.
Yep.
And they are going to play the wholesale, because trust me, I ran Mark Travel's wholesale stuff for everything that didn't fly, and that is what you do. You get the best deals for your people. You try to get advantaged inventory versus the others, and then you control that form of distribution. And if you're large enough, you can do that. And it isn't necessarily bad for that organization that it's just this we win, you lose. I mean, what we did at Mark Travel was a lot of we win, you win even more sort of thing. And actually, very honestly, I didn't do a lot of exclusionary deals where you can't do it with somebody else. They did a lot of those before, which actually I killed because it didn't make any sense. Why choke off your
well, not supplier? Just to mention, you're not going to win every one of them.
Right. So, no, and if you can be a better partner, if I can be a better partner and let you do your business and flourish, and I'm just better at it, that's it. And that, I think, is the essence of the Expedia and the Priceline and the TripAdvisor business model is, yes, Expedia, I think, will be more inclusive with people and be easy, a little bit easier to work with because, yes, let's go develop this. But when things turn down and things get ugly, they're going to behave in their own interest, and the hotels are going to get very upset because they ceded the activities business to this. And let me tell you, I have discussions with numerous hoteliers on this topic from a consulting perspective as well as doing it before. The opportunities for hotels to provide better experiences and to really delight and really embrace their guests really fall many times outside of the walls of the hotel, where you go, oh, your kids would you like to go to the aquarium? We can get you passes to that. Or, hey, I see you came in, you're a big Dallas Cowboys fan. Would you like seats for that? And I mean, and I know you guys, I'm obliged to mention Four Seasons.
Contractual. It would be a show without it. If not, we put it in.
But see, I did throw a Neat Group, Mark Travel, Sabre So, but we did that as part of our marketing plan in Dallas when the Mandalay was a Four Seasons. We were very close to Texas Stadium with the Cowboys. We had 200 season tickets for that, which is a lot for a hotel to do. But we used those in a regional. We provided value to come in, boost our weekend occupancy, which, trust me, in Dallas ain't that great in the fall, to come in, and we did it golf clubs, every sort of Smurf related sort of organization. You came in on the weekend, all of a sudden we had access to these tickets. And yes, we had to buy them. They're expensive, but we created value for our guests and gave them something that they couldn't get otherwise, especially when games sold out. We had 200 tickets that we could give away for free if we wanted.
Yep.
Right? Because
before you went to Orlando, where did you live before that?
New Hampshire.
Okay. Well, no, that's still touristy. One of the weirdest feelings I ever had when I first came to Dallas before I moved here was we went out for dinner, and it was during peak season in Florida, and we go there thinking, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to stand in line, this and this, and it was in fall, peak season, not peak season, but it was seasonality. There was a holiday, and we're just in that Florida mindset that it's a holiday, so everything's gonna be incredibly busy. And we go to this restaurant that was supposedly recommended, nice restaurant stuff, and it was dead empty. And we're like, was there something wrong with the restaurant? And it's like, no, everybody took off for a holiday. Right. It's so in reverse of Florida mentality that holidays mean aggregation, not dissipation. Right. It's like, it's just a weird mind shift of like, oh yeah, this is where people come from when they come visit where we're used to them being at.